Let me take you now back to our top story, which is about a landmark visit that India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has had to the island nation of Mauritius, just off the coast of Madagascar in Africa. And a lot has been undertaken here in terms of not just Pacts Inc., 8 of them, where maritime security is being kept at the forefront, and also the fact that there can be trade in each other's currencies. But a larger vision has also been unveiled by Prime Minister Modi for the Global South. To talk about it all, we have Sanjay Panda with us. He's a former senior diplomat and an Indian Ocean region expert. Thank you for joining us, Ambassador Panda. What do you make of this visit of Prime Minister Modi to Mauritius? What kind of a message does it send out to not just the Global South, but also the world, particularly to those countries which seek to disproportionately increase their influence in that region through means that are not completely kosher?
Well, first of all, when you look at this visit, you have to, I'll take you back 10 years. 2015, when Prime Minister Modi visited Mauritius, it was indeed a historic visit because it redefined and provided a fresh impetus to the bilateral ties. But what is more important, Prime Minister's Sagar vision, security and growth for all in the region, was unveiled during that visit. And during the last 10 years, that has held us in very good state for any of India's policy related to the Indian Ocean, Indo-Pacific. But what is bilaterally important, this has also taken our relationship with Mauritius to a different level. Several projects have been implemented. We had the metro project and the Agalega Island infrastructure development project. We had set up a civil services institute, a housing project. But what is more important, there is, the relationship is viewed as something which is special, and it was elevated to the level of a comprehensive strategic partnership between the two countries. This visit is not only about sustaining this momentum, but also reinforcing these, all that was done in 2015. And 10 years down the line, when you see the kind of reception that was accorded to Prime Minister Modi on arrival with 200 dignitaries, the entire cabinet, Prime Minister Ramgoolam receiving him at the airport and accompanying him right through in all his engagements. This is a message which goes to the world that this relationship is something special. And when Prime Minister Modi, in his inimitable style, when he, brings out, the emotional chords among the people, there was the kind of applause probably you don't see in many countries where foreign heads of states or heads of government visit. So this is indeed something special. And now I think with this visit, when you have signed several MOUs, I think 8 MOUs have been signed. And then there's a very important project that India has agreed to build the Parliament House in Mauritius, which was there for some time. And then there was comprehensive discussion today between the leadership, delegation level talks, and the entire gamut of bilateral relations and international issues were discussed. So I feel that a very important message has been sent out to the world that this relationship, this partnership is very special and something more than the usual partnership between two or bilateral, relationship between two sovereign entities.
And is that very pointedly conveyed when you talk about the kind of pacts that have been inked and the things that Prime Minister also mentioned in his joint press conference? Even the vision statement mentions the Chagos Islands and the fact that the PM has assured that India will do everything it can to help Mauritius ensure its sovereignty over its exclusive economic zone. There's white shipping data which will now be exchanged as well, apart from cooperation on hydrography as well.
Yes, absolutely. There are many areas which are now covered in these agreements. But since you mentioned Chagos, let me tell you how important it is. I mean, Diego Garcia is located there, but at the same time, when there are people, the Chagosians, who were moved out in view of the lease that was in place. But when the lease got over in 2016, there was negotiations, and then there was some kind of agreement which was reached. Of course, India had mediated and was actively involved in these negotiations. But then it was decided, there was some kind of an agreement which was decided: Diego Garcia remains, but Chagosians return also to the archipelago. But now, after Prime Minister Ramgoolam took over, he pointed out that this needs to be reviewed. And of course, nothing much had happened until President Trump now had hinted that, well, there is something amiss, so we should have a relook at this agreement. So now there is very clear messaging, and Prime Minister has given this assurance that we are with you. So this is what Mauritius needed. So the very clear, unambiguously, India has to play this very important balancing game. I'm being very candid in saying that, look, maritime security, Diego Garcia, with the Chinese policy in the Indian Ocean and the expansionist, whatever China is up to in the Indian Ocean, Diego Garcia has an important role. I mean, that is not to deny that. But at the same time, Mauritian sovereignty is to be respected. Chagosians have to return. So India has a very important role to play. And what Prime Minister Modi has conveyed to the Mauritian leadership, that look, we are with you on the Chagos question, on the Chagos impasse. So that's a very important messaging that has been done. And apart from that, when you're talking about hydrographic survey, there was always, it was actually an ongoing process. Only thing is that now it is
Yes,
institutionalized.
it'll be formal.
It is formalized. Yes, that's right. So there's
Okay.
a periodicity, what is to be the modus operandi. So which is good, which was in the works. So this is now done. So, and sharing of data, and this is something which was done earlier informally. So these are the things which are getting formalized between two friends, two partners. So Mauritius, as I say, I mean, we look at Mauritius as our very trusted friends, and even on international issues, we have the same approach. We look at issues, we are on the same page on many of the issues. We are democracies. And what is more important, 70% of the 1.2 million or 12 lakh population of Mauritius are of Indian origin.
Yes.
So that brings about a very important connect, the diaspora connect. We have a cultural
And
connect,
that was also
historical
underlined
connect.
by the fact that the PM was invited for a second time to be the chief guest at the National Day celebrations of Mauritius. And what sweetened the pot further was the high civilian honor that the PM got. But what does that tell, other nations in the world which are looking to, again, increase their influence in the Indian Ocean region as to kind of not just the friendship that India shares with nations in the global south, but also the kind of influence and the reach that India has?
Gautam, when you're talking about this highest civilian award, I mean, it's important to mention what is the name of the award. It says the Grand Commander of the Order of the Star and Key of the Indian Ocean. So this is what the award says, and so this is a very important message, the highest civilian award. But it also says that you are our partner, trusted partner in the Indian Ocean. So that is a very strong message which goes out. That well, look, India and Mauritius are there and in together in the Indian Ocean. See, we are not only talking about maritime security. Oceans are much beyond that. In fact, Indian Ocean is now that, some people feel that Indian Ocean has been subsumed by this concept of Indo-Pacific, which is now the flavor of the day. But the fact is that it doesn't, it's actually, you look at it as a larger canvas. Like if an artist has a particular focus point in a larger canvas, then that doesn't mean that that part is not important. So this actually gives further salience and importance to the Indian Ocean. And when the two leaders actually discussed, and when the delegation level talks happened today, maritime security played, of course, figured prominently in the discussions. But at the same time, what is important is that other issues, for example, blue economy and SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, and climate change, terrorism, on all these issues of global concern actually figured in the discussions. So basically, Mauritius, given its important geostrategic location, and considering the fact that it has always extended, there is bipartisan support for India and the
Yes.
Indian leadership, speaks volumes of our, the level of friendship and the bilateral ties between the two countries, which goes beyond the normal bilateral ties between two entities. I mean, this is, as Prime Minister said, with Mauritius, it's family.
Definitely. I mean, that is why even the relationship has been elevated further. And let's see, where it goes from here, because this is indeed a very, very high point in the overall ties that the two nations have had for decades now. Thanks a lot for joining us and talking about it,
Thank you.
Ambassador Sanjay Pada.
Thank you.